covers, nature, FIEL'S mini adventures, unboxing, news, entertainment, lessons. Watch, like, subscribe, stay connected. Channel Year.
In this lesson, we are going to talk about transition signals based on the skills indicated in DepEd's most essential learning competency, which is identify and use signals that indicate coherence. Here are our lesson's objectives. Identify transition signals used in sentences and paragraphs, complete sentences with appropriate transition signals, and connect ideas using transition signals to achieve coherence. In today's lesson, we are going to focus on transition signals used particularly for sequencing and comparison and contrast of ideas or information. This lesson will help you develop your knowledge and skill in identifying and using cohesive devices or transition signals, specifically the words that are used in sequencing and comparing or contrasting ideas in sentences or paragraphs. Let's begin. Take a look at the two pictures. Are you familiar with these bridges? Yes, you're right. The first one is the San Juanico Bridge, the longest bridge here in the Philippines. The second one is the San Francisco Bridge, or the Golden Gate Bridge in California, USA. It is one of the most beautiful bridges in the world. Now think about this. What is the main purpose of bridges? Why were they built? That's right. Bridges are built to connect islands or broken lands. In the same manner, transition signals are words and phrases used to connect ideas and sentences. Look at this picture. Think of the broken land as two different or similar ideas or information connected by a bridge, which function as the transition signal. Can you imagine that? Now, let's focus on the two basic classifications of transition signals, the sequential and comparison and contrast. Let's have first the sequential, which are words that indicate sequence or series or order. To begin a paragraph that indicates an order or sequence, here are the most commonly used starters. We have to begin, first of all, to start, initially, at first, or first, and in the beginning. Let's try to use it in a sentence. How do you wash your clothes? To start washing your clothes, separate the white from colored clothes. What transition signal did we use? That's right. We used to start. Easy, right? Piece of cake. Now, to continue the series or sequence, here are the most commonly used transition signals. We have secondly, also, in addition, moreover, another, furthermore, next, then, and after. After you separate the white from colored clothes, what do? Let's have this example. Then, wash the white and colored separately. After this, wash them with soap. Next, rinse the clothes 2 or 3 times with clean water. Can you identify the transition words we used? You are correct. We used then, after, and next. Now, how do we end a sequence or order? Read the following commonly used transition signals in ending your paragraph or speech. We have lastly, in conclusion, to sum it up, finally, in the end, and to summarize. So, in our example, what is the last step you do in washing your clothes? Read the example. Lastly, hang your clothes on the clothesline under the bright sun to dry them out. Identify the transition signal used. Right, we used lastly. Now you have an idea what words we use to indicate sequence or order. Let's proceed to transition signals used for comparison. We use these words when we want to give examples or write about similar ideas or added information. Here are the commonly used transition words. For example, for instance, such as, and similarly. Let's have example number 1. Philippines has many tropical fruits such as mangoes, pineapples, and bananas. We used such as to add information or provide examples for the term tropical fruits. Let's have example number 2. Philippines has hot and humid weather in April. Similarly, Vietnam has very warm temperature during summer. We used similarly to add an information or idea which is related to the first idea. Easy, right? Now you can try using the other transition words in a sentence. Now let's take the transition signals used for contrasting ideas or information. These words are used when we write or talk about two or more related but contrasting or opposite ideas or information. Here are the most commonly used transition signals. However, besides, although, regardless, but, nonetheless, nevertheless, and on the other hand. Take a look at statement number 1. Sinigang is a famous food in the Philippines. On the other hand, adobo is more famous among foreigners. What transition signal is used? Yes, right. On the other hand, let's take statement number 2. We started laying down the palay on the ground, although the sun is not up yet. Can you identify the transition signal? You're right. It's although. Now, before I give you the activities, let's sum up. What is transition signal? Why do we use transition signals? Right. Transition signals are words and phrases used to connect ideas and sentences. They help organize paragraphs and essays to create a smooth and logical flow throughout the writing. Can you give me examples of transition words used in sequencing? You're doing great! In our lesson, we made use of the transition signals to begin, at first, next, then, finally, lastly, and to end with. You can search for more transition signals in the internet or in textbooks, if you got one at home. How about transition signals used for comparing and contrasting things or ideas? Do you remember the signals we used? We used the signals, for example, such as, and similarly for comparison. However, although, but, besides, on the other hand, and nevertheless, are the transition signals we used for contrasting things and ideas. Now, let's try using transition signals for sequencing. Here's what you have to do. Draw a diagram. Be as creative as you can be. You may make a train, a cluster of clouds, or a flower. You can even draw a tree. And then, label your diagram with first, next, then, after that, and lastly, or finally. Here are the given sentences. You arrange them using your diagram to form a story. Begin the story with, "Yesterday, I cleaned our backyard." Here is an example of a diagram. You can do it. Shall we check your answers? Here we go. We begin with, "Yesterday, I cleaned our backyard." First, I swept the fallen dried leaves and cut the grass. Next, I removed the dried leaves from our plants. Then, I put all the dried leaves and grass in a trash can. After that, I poured them in our compost pit. Finally, I watered our plants. Did you do it right? Congratulations! Good job! Next, here is a Venn diagram that shows comparison and contrast of calamansi and dalandan. We have smaller in size, sour whether ripe or not, very few or no varieties at all. Citrus fruits contain vitamin C. You can make juice, have seeds and pulps. Bigger in size, some are sour and some are sweet, especially when ripe. Has many varieties. Now, will you complete the following sentences with the given ideas from the diagram? You can do it. I believe in you. Now, let's try completing the sentences. Both are citrus fruits. Calamansi and dalandan both contain vitamin C. For letter C, you can make juice with either. B, calamansi is similar to dalandan because they have seeds and pulps. Letter E, calamansi is smaller while dalandan is bigger. Letter F, some dalandan are sour and some are sweet, especially when ripe. But calamansi is sour whether ripe or not. And lastly, calamansi has few or no varieties. On the other hand, dalandan has many varieties. I believe you did it right. Easy, isn't it? Great job! Let us now proceed to evaluation. For letter A, copy the 6 transition words in the following paragraph. You write them down on your paper. For letter B, complete the sentences with the correct transition words. Write only the letter of your answer on your paper. And lastly, for letter C, match the ideas from column A and column B with transitions. Write the letter of your answer on your paper. Now to end our lesson, here's your assignment. Choose one among the following pairs. Write at least 5 sentences using words to compare and contrast your chosen pair. I hope you had a nice time today. Till next time, God willing.